And welcome to the spotlight on the one, the only Mr. MatttyIce, creator of Bitterroot. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, Bordy. How are you, buddy?
Mate, I'm doing well. Been a while since we had you on the show, mate. June-ish last year, back when this was all still relatively small scale. Look at it now.
I know, yeah. I
It's
didn't
a
realize
beast.
it was that long ago, but it's come quite a ways.
It's a behemoth, this Bitterroot map, mate. It's completely unlike anything I've seen other than the Molsk. Banov got a bit of hype, Deer Isle got a bit of hype, but the hype around Bitterroot is just insane. It's Namolskish.
I appreciate that. I mean, no, it's been a fun journey so far. And I mean, it's cool to see people enjoy it and play it, and I appreciate that.
So you sent me a bit of a summary, and I'm going to read through it. And we'll start with you wanted to straight up give some thanks to some of the people who've been massive behind the scenes for you. So we've got Big Grandpa, a bloke we've had on the podcast before. He runs the Daisy mapping school, basically, trying to help people who want to learn mapping themselves, everything from ripping a satellite image to creating them from the ground up. Fishy, who, from what I understand, is like your right-hand man.
Yeah.
Nate.
Yeah, in many respects. Yeah.
Nate, or Warwick, I think he is on Twitter, who is massive behind the scenes as well, and also providing one of the servers for you.
Yeah, Nate is on Twitter. He's DH5TV. I can't exactly remember what it is, but yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah, he's in the chat right there. No, Nate. Without Nate, none of these podcasts are not in part. None of these playtests would go as smoothly as they do. I remember the first few I ran before bringing anybody on board. It was all by myself, and it was pretty overwhelming. So having Nate. And then also, the rest of the guys on the team, I am and Ricky and Dave and yourself, even, and a few others. You guys are all super helpful. Mm-hmm. But Nate definitely puts in a ton of time and very helpful, and very thankful to have him.
Yep. You've also mentioned everyone's favorite British drug lord. Everyone knows Dave. I'm never going to let that meme go from that little episode of the podcast where he said he was giving a USB, but man, it looked like a fucking drug deal to me. But hey, you do what you, mate. It's hilarious. I've got to find the clip for it and share it, because me and Archie were both sitting there just like, what the fuck's going on in the background there, Dave? Like, now you've got Jeb, I'm not familiar with.
So Geb is from if you don't mind me cutting. So Geb is I'll first, if you don't mind, I go back to the very top. So
I was about to say that. Yeah, we probably should let you talk about each person.
Sure, yeah, if you don't mind. So it's obviously Big Grandpa, like you've had him on the stream on the podcast before, and I really enjoyed that episode. But without Big Grandpa, like I don't think many of the maps that are out today would really be there. He was a source for everybody, I think, providing a Discord that has loads and loads of resources in it for us to use and utilize for what we're doing here. But he has the Daisy Academy, so he does not just map making, but he does
Daisy Academy too. Thank you.
Yeah, and so not only if you're interested in not just map making but other things beyond, he does all that too. And it's where I got my start. I was just like, how do you make a map? Google and YouTube, and how to make a map in 2 hours popped up, and I was like, well, let's roll with that one. And from there, kind of it continued on there. But he's been helpful to me personally throughout this entire time, and in a lot of ways, especially early on when I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, and still continues to be very helpful to myself, and I know of many others. But not only that, but his Discord is very helpful in that there are other map makers in there that are all at similar stages of their development of their particular map. And all do our best to help each other. I got a lot of help from people, and some of those guys are named down here down at the bottom. Raytone, who's making Deadfall, has been super helpful to me in many ways. Zarge made his tank, and man, Zarge was like super helpful in the beginning. It was really hard to get through the outer layer of Zarge, but once you did, the man helped out a ton, and he was very helpful.
I've got a lot of love personally for Zarge. I know there's been issues him and some of the things he said publicly, but I can see past that, and I respect the guy for what he's done.
Yeah, no, he's very smart when it comes to map making, and was very helpful to me as a little yuppie asking questions. And then Harkness is in there too. He's been very helpful to me in many respects, like the configs and different things on the back end. He's another modder. I'm not sure if he's making a map or not. And then Oli with Azalea, like, we've been helping each other and chatting a lot of like moral support with each other and like bouncing ideas off each other. I appreciate him a ton. Diego with PNW, he and I chat from time to time.
I've never heard of PNW. What's that?
I don't know. It's another silly American map, I guess.
I've got to look at it then. I've got to have a look, find out more about it. The other ones I've heard of, but yeah.
So you really haven't heard of PNW? You really haven't heard of that one?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you were being sarcastic. No, PNW is great.
No, seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to like describe.
Wait, is that Pacific Northwest? Is that what it is?
It's the Pacific Northwest, so it's like Washington, Seattle, and it's a very similar geographic look as Bitterroot is. It's a good map. I've enjoyed it every time I've ever played it, and it's another American map. So, but yeah, I would recommend checking it out and seeing if he would come on the podcast at some point too.
Definitely.
And then Creepy, of course, making Hashima Islands. Like, I can't wait for that map. That map.
Same. And he's been doing some really good marketing as well. Like, I know some of the trailers a bit, anime-ish sort of thing, which I know I'm not even a huge fan of it, but I can appreciate the effort he's putting in with those silly tunes and all the rest of it, and the rebranding of everything. It's a masterclass in
No, I mean, he's, he and I chat every now and then too, and I jump into his streams when he's making the map from time to time as well. But
you actually know that that's a real location, Hashima Islands?
Yeah, like Battleship Island, I think is what it is.
Yeah, Battleship Island, that's correct.
Yeah.
I Googled it and I was like, wow, that's fascinating.
Right. Yeah, no, see, he's been great too. I mean, he helped me with making my 3D map. So a lot of like Photoshop stuff, but also just like seeing the level of detail he's been to. It's like a challenge. It's like, look, I need to step up my game when it comes to detailing. Like, because if Creepy's doing it to that level, people love details. I need to up my game when it comes to detail too. And a lot of these guys do the same thing, like especially like PNW being another American map. I view that as a friendly competition. And it's like, I want to be the best American map. I'm sure he wants to be the best American map. So like a friendly competition there, but we're all very helpful to each other.
And but then you lift each other up. That's a lot of people when it comes to competition, they view it as cutthroat, whereas I view it more as, hey, it's good for everyone. It lifts the standard, and as long as there's good spirit in it, it's going to be great. But I think we need to go back up because we glossed over Fishy, and from what I understand, Fishy's done a hell of a lot.
No, yeah. So Fishy, I chat with Fishy virtually every single day. Fishy has been the guy who's brought in virtually every single custom asset that you see in Bitterroot, virtually all of them. There's a few that are not his, but the vast majority.
So explain what you mean by brought in.
So the assets like the cars, the wrecked cars that we have, a lot of things that have not come yet, military stuff, but a lot of the new high-rise buildings that are in there, a lot of the like ranch houses, the cabins and things like that. There's a lot of things that he's brought in for me. So like, we buy the asset, and he imports them in for me. And what's crazy, I think, is a lot of the times I end up getting an asset, and it's you don't get to look into these assets before you purchase them. So you purchase them sometimes, and then I'll send them the files, and he'd be like, this asset is terribly made. Like, I can't, like, it's really not suitable for DayZ. Like, and he's like, I got a lot of work to do here. And I'm like, well, that's why I work with you, Fishy, because you're the best. So for example, that police department, which I think everybody is aware of, the police department, which is a super cool building. That building looked virtually nothing like it whenever I purchased it on its face. It was like red, white, and blue, terrible looking textures, and like it just was not looking very good. And he made it into what it is now, and it's just a stellar building. That was all Fishy. and to his credit too, like he's super great in that every single time I have any kind of issue with the building or need any kind of edits, he's like boom, 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 done. And a lot of times he's already anticipating what I want and what I need in it too. And,
Yep.
So the standard, I think we both have very high standards, and I think that's what helped us to work really well together.
Now we
But
talked
he
about
also,
Nate. Well, sorry,
yeah,
go for it. Keep up, carry on.
I was just gonna say also Fishy has 3 of his own standalone mods as well. There's Fishy residential buildings, or Fishy buildings, I think is what's called.
Yep.
Fishy industrial, and then Fishy urban, I think is what the third one is called.
Okay.
But you got that's all basically all the residential houses that are custom in Bitterroot.
One of the things
buildings.
I love about your map is the sheer variety of buildings. You've used some of the existing vanilla DayZ buildings, which for the most part seem to fit okay. But then you've got all these more classic rural sort of Americana and houses with the garages built onto the side. Some that you can access from inside the house, some that are, just they're attached, but you can't get in and out. So I'm really enjoying all the variety here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Fishy's buildings mod, and that's how we got to start working together. As I reached out to him and I was like, can I repack these? These are perfect for my map. And he was like, I've got really high standards. Let me look at your map first. And then we began working together from there. Those unique looking apartment buildings that are at the ski resort. Those are Fishy's urban mod. And then a lot of the industrial buildings and all those garages that you were just talking about, those are all his industrial mod too. So those are all available. And that, any kind of server owner that does a lot of the DayZ editor work, like those are have to have mods to build out your server.
I mean, I don't know how crazy you guys are going to go. You were talking before about like with Hashima Islands and the amount of detail. One thing that I would love to see is some different furniture. Going into those apartments up there around the ski resort and seeing the classic low set Cherno Russian beds was kind of like, I wonder how cool this would look if you had more, Western style beds as opposed to Eastern European styles. So that's something to keep in mind. But we'll come back to that sort of stuff later. But
sure.
Okay, so everyone knows Dave.
Everyone knows Dave, man. Dave is fantastic. I go to Dave for all technical advice on servers and backend stuff. The man is wicked smart, and there's not a single thing that he doesn't think he can do. Like if I come to him for anything, he's like, I can do that, or I will find somebody that can do it for you. And he's fast. He's like super responsive. Love Dave. And he's been supplying the European servers that we've been having for the last couple playtests now. I think including this one, is the last three playtests. So having Dave has been super helpful, because that's 2 servers per playtest that were not possible before. And it's opened up, I think, Bitterroot to all of Europe that didn't have the ping to be able to play the 1 or 2 American servers that I could only host in the original, the early days. So super thankful for Dave. He's been very helpful and a rock.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much there, Trucker. $10 donation from Trucker. Matty, when I get back in Lakeland next month, we have to meet up for lunch. I got to run. Doc clock running out of time.
See you, Trucker. Hit me up.
Yeah, Trucker. So Jeb, did we mention Jeb?
No, so Geb did the mountain lions and the moose for me, which I think are, he's done 2 things for me, but they're 2, I think, pivotal things that make Bitterroot what it is. The wildlife in Bitterroot, I think,
I've got a complaint.
Okay, let's hear it.
The mountain lions. I was playing earlier today. Them motherfuckers are sneaky. And
They're super sneaky.
I was in chat with one of the guys I run with, Codger or Pava, and it fucking roared next to me. My mouse was shaking. I fucking absolutely shit a brick, mate. My God, that noise was holy shit. It scared the living crap out of me. I'm more scared of them than I am of the bears and the wolves.
Sure.
My God, mate. My God, it scared the living crap out of me.
Yeah, no. So the funny story about the mountain lions. So originally, so they're reskinned wolves, right? They're just reskinned wolves.
You could tell by the animations of them.
Yeah, the way they act. But what's funny is, So I think it was like second playtest or something like that. So Geb is the creator of the Geb's fish mod. You guys have probably all seen that. It like brings in a load of new fish.
Yep.
So like if you've played any server that's got like a variety of new fish and custom fish that you can catch, I think that's from him. He also did the oh man, a flora fauna, I think is what the mod is called. Like the one that's got the monkeys and the elephants and things like that. That's all him. So he's another animal guy. It does really great work. So he did the mountain lions for me. He did the moose for me. But with the mountain lion, I just, I wanted it to be a reskin wolf, and in my mind I was thinking it would make some kind of noise. You would know it's coming, and you would fight it. But in my mind, also mountain lions usually act alone. They're single kind of animal. So I want to make mountain lions be worth basically two wolves. That's kind of like why they're difficult to kill. But what's funny is, so we get into that playtest and they weren't making any noise on approach. And I was like, this is not going to be good. This is going to be a problem, but let's just run with it. And we'll just, see what people think about the mountain lion in general. And then we'll add the noise later on. And the feedback I got on how sneaky those things are, it was through the roof. Just people were like, these things are fucking terrifying. I hate them, but I absolutely love it because it just, the amount of like the jump scares that happen. So you're just running through the woods and, you're unsuspecting of anything because it's Daisy and there's nothing out there. And then all of a sudden, boom, you just get attacked by this wolf, this lion out of nowhere, jump scares. It just became part of Bitterroot. It makes part of what makes Bitterroot. So, we embrace the silent attack, which makes it out to be pretty realistic too.
Yeah. Yep. It is. It's good. And hopefully we can get someone to do some custom animations for you to make them more feline-ish. Just imagine how cool it would be seeing one of them actually stalking you.
Well, funny enough, they do stalk. And so, because these playtests being an admin mode, I get to fly around every now and then. I can see these guys in the distance as they're going to attack somebody that's coming on, and they actually do. They stalk. They like slowly creep, and then they leap out and they run. So they do all the animations already. But certainly there's some refinement that can happen to them, and a lot of things can be refined around the way. But there are more animals I'd like to bring in at some point, and I would love for a certain somebody to do those.
People don't know how insane they are at stealth attacks. Like I saw a video recently, a guy filmed one stalking I think it was like a mountain goat or a deer or something like that, and you just you see it pop its head up, and then when it goes down low, it's invisible again, and then you're like, where did it go? Where did it go? And then it's popped up again, and it's closer to the animal. You're just like, they're next level fucking. Yeah, all cats are kind of like that. It is a bit like that. Arminius, they're in the trees. They're in the trees. That's my worst nightmare. I haven't had it happen yet, but is having one attack me in one of those really dense forests. It's like, oh my god, that would just be a nightmare.
Get ready. It's gonna happen.
Then we've got Space Cat.
Yeah, so Space Cat came to me not too long ago. Space Cat, so all the custom zombies that we have, the American military zombies that are in, the new medical zombies that all have it written in English, all that. I see him there in the chat. There he is. So Space Cat did all of the zombies that are really great, and that's part of the whole process of creating an immersive American experience. But not only the zombies, he also, so the police zombies are another one that those things look really great, and he took the police reskinned uniform that a guy named Raffin made for me, who I think he did a fantastic job with those police uniforms, Cole County PD, that you can actually wear. Like, people love those things and they wear it. Yeah. And he did a fantastic job for me. And that was a gift. He did that for me as a gift, as a donation, because he really wanted to see that in the server. But Space Cat he made the zombies look the same, which is super immersive and super helpful. And then he also did, if you go into the medical buildings and the school buildings, they're all in English, and they have American posters on them, the American flag, the American states, and all the things like that. So all just part of the whole process of creating a truly authentic, immersive American experience of DayZ. And the great thing about Space Cat is I don't even ask him. The man just goes to work, and then he's like, I want you to have these because I want this to be a successful map and achieve the goals that I have for the map. So super appreciative for that guy. He does great work.
Sorry, just seen an old name from my DayZ legacy pop up in chat there. Got Shadow. How you doing, buddy? Um, jump in the podcast Discord, mate. I would love to catch up with you and just see how you're doing, buddy. That's the link to it there. But yeah, Got Shadow was playing with me way back in the very early DayZ standalone days. It's great seeing these old names pop up.
Love it.
Kind of got touched in the feels there. I met the guy IRL as well. Lovely bloke. But yeah, okay. So then we've got Encoda.
Encoda. Yeah. So Encoda is probably the most recent person that I've begun working with over the last couple of weeks or so. So Encoda is the one who has made the custom weapons that are in the game for right now.
Yep.
So he's
You're getting me in trouble with that too. You're getting me in trouble. Have you seen the screenshots I've been sharing in the podcast Discord? No,
I don't think so.
I've been baiting Mike Doherty. Let me see if I can find one of them. I've got to show this because I have a massive hoarding problem when it comes to playing. I'm that guy who, when you kill him, you're looking at his body going, why the fuck is he carrying all this shit? And you've got so many shiny, pretties, I call them, on that map. And then combine that with that hero backpack. When I found it at a chopper, I was like, oh yeah, baby.
The hero backpack is definitely the hoarder's paradise.
Oh god, let me.
So the hero backpack, the Mini 14, the Stocko that everybody loves, the beards, the new
mustaches,
yeah, that's just a funny little silly thing, but it's people are embracing it, they love it. The hero backpack, yeah, those things all come from an old PC server that I owned in the past. It was called 1988. It was a Deer Isle server set in 1988. We made a fictional Red Dawn theme type stuff. So we brought in all kinds of 1980s era equipment, weapons, clothing, everything. It just went full scale, kind of like what I'm doing here with Bitterroot. So everything dot the I's and cross the T's, like everything was a 1980s based. And so that was an old server we had. So all those things all came over from that server. And I, packed on early on, but the recent guns, the AR-15, the SBR 300, the Honey Badger, the M91, the M110, the R700, those are all done by Encoda, along with the ammos that go with them, the 6.5 millimeter Creedmoor, and then also the 300 Blackout and the 300 Blackout armor piercing. Those are all done by Encoda, and I think he does really good work. The Mac 11 too, we just brought in today, I think. He does really great work. He's very quick. If you guys need guns, I would recommend checking out Encoda as well.
I love that you're bringing in so many different weapon types as well. It's America. It's a meme that you guys have a gun in bloody 10 guns in every house, and I kind of like finding them all.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think so. What I'm trying to do ultimately, and I have a Bitterroot wiki page too now that I've worked on for the last couple of weeks. It's up now, but it has a weapon overhaul. So going to be bringing in more and more weapons that ultimately will replace certain vanilla weapons. Like there's no reason why the SVD should be in Bitterroot. There's no reason why the like Scorpion should be in Bitterroot. Like those are guns that just like aren't really here. I'm sure there's like some collectors that have this stuff, but like to find them reasonably while you're out exploring, it's just not going to happen. But you can see some guns there. Those are American guns, and they are easy replacements for the Honey Badger, an easy replacement for the SVAL, and the SBR is an easy replacement for the VSS. So like that was an easy one,
Can you see my character now on the screen?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, you love that backpack, don't you?
I had two of them, and I put it in the chat, and I said, "Can someone please make a mod where you can carry two backpacks at the same time and still use only a pistol?" But yeah, I've got like the M4 on my back, Honey Badger in my backpack, on the back of the backpack, the SBR in the other backpack, and then I've got the Sarko, and I think I had a DMR at that stage on me as well, and then two pistols as well. It's just every time I find something else, it's like, oh, I've got to have it.
Right.
So yeah, I've just been really enjoying all that sort of stuff. I can't help myself but grab anything that's shiny, pretty. And they, yeah, even I remember Minder commenting on how nice your M14 model was.
Yeah, no. It's so, and I talking about the diversity of weapons, I think that's all part of. So for me, I'm not going to be doing any kind of like mission lore type deal, like similar to what Namal's does, or Deer Isle, or Banov even. And I'm sure there's other maps that I'm not aware of that have like a in-game mission per se, like a suit or some locate or something like that. I'm not doing that. That's not the like style of DayZ that I play normally. I like the traditional Trinaris, like just survive for as long as you can. I like how server owners can add easy twists to it. I always view maps as like the landscape, and the canvas and the server owners are the guys who do the painting. They make the servers what unique and make the maps unique. So I'm providing. I view Bitterroot as just a painting of a landscape of a world that some server owner in the future hopefully will use, and they'll do their own twist to it and do whatever they want to do with it and have fun with it. So for me, I'm not going to do that, but I think you'll have like little things you can do inside Bitterroot, like pursue and find this specific gun that you want for this specific mission that you have in mind. And I think those will be little things that keep people coming back more and more.
Yep. Okay, let's go back to that list. The next person to cut off the rank is Mr. Tony UK.
Yep. So Tony's another good one. Tony's another great modder. He did the Models UK mod. And he's been super helpful. I found his mod early on when I was searching for things you could repack for free and without permission, or even with permission, because I was trying to find different ways to make the map create unique. And I came across his mod. It's called Models UK. And for me, the majority of his models naturally are not suitable for me because they're English models. But there's the windmill, the absolutely gorgeous windmill that's just outside Blairsville. That's his. The crickety wood bridges, those that are up on some of the high rises, those are all his. And there's a variety of other things of his that I use as well. But he does great work, and he again is another guy, kind of like Space Cat. They're just like, look, I don't need you to pay me for any of this. I don't need anything. I just want to be a part of this project because we like it and we want to be a part of it. And he'll reach out to me sometimes and be like, hey, what do you need? What kind of lasso do you need? What can I add to my mod that will be useful to you? And those kinds of guys like that, I'm extremely grateful for. And I love to feature them in the map too. So he's another great one.
Awesome. Jadis or Blackout?
Yeah, so Jadis is another gun guy. So he has a mod called Blackout EDO Overhaul. That is, if you're a server owner and you want like a complete overhaul of guns, including vanilla guns, I would definitely recommend checking out this mod. It's got like, I don't even know how many guns, probably 100 guns in it, and ranging from replacing the Mosin, adding in an M1 Garand, replacing the AK-47, and all the way to like new grenade launchers and rocket launchers and all kinds of stuff. Like everything under the sun you could possibly want is in that mod. And I would definitely recommend checking that. But he's going to be donating a lot of those guns that are coming into Bitterroot from that mod pack.
Yep.
And I worked with Jadis quite a bit on that old 1988 Remnants 1988 server that we had. He was part of our admin and leadership team as well. And I even kind of know him going back to my console days too. So he's going to play a pretty significant role in the map with his guns as well. But then the last thing I have on my list is just the Bitterroot admins. You got everyone knows Dave, Funk Pedal, you yourself, Boydie, Nate, King Ricky, Trapper, and Shooty. These guys are all very helpful to me. I can't be on the Discord.
Not that I'm really an
day.
admin, mate. I'm just a guy who gives you an idea every now and then and puts up a server for you.
You do, and I'm extremely grateful. Each one of these people play, some play a small role or play a large role, and all of it at the end of the day really helps me be able to focus on making the map. And in my real life, I have a real job, I have a real family, and all these different things like that. So these guys, though they have all those things too, they as a team we work together, and I very appreciative for everything that each of them do.
Now, you said in the next part, monetization. To date, this project has cost over $5,000 between operating expenses for servers, asset purchases, modders, and other subscriptions necessary to do the whole thing. That's insane.
Yeah, no, it's an expensive project. If you would have asked me if it was going to cost that much going into it, I would have said that's insane and
You
not
got a
possible.
missus and a family.
Yeah, well, listen, so not all of that is coming out of my pocket because look,
but we're getting to a point here. We're getting to a point.
We are getting to a point.
And this is something that, we're not going to go too much into it, but some stuff was said about how much monetization is happening around Bitterroot. Well, what you're seeing, the fruit, the stuff in the background of me, all these custom guns, the amount of people who are able to provide, some people are doing it out of the goodness of their own heart. Other people, if you want the best, some of these names, I imagine you've paid some of them some money to do what they're doing for you. And $5,000, I don't know about the rest of you, but especially in today's economic times, I for sure do not have 5,000 fucking US dollars. That's about 10,000 Australian. I'm probably around about 8,000 to 9,000. If I spent $8,000 to $9,000 on anything to do with gaming, my missus would fucking castrate me.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, I don't have that money. And so that's where I bring in things like commissions and other everything, other.
Which I love that concept.
Yeah,
I love that concept. What you've done there is to give you the backstory on this, folks, because I don't want people thinking I'm only doing this because of what I was alluding to before. I'd actually reached out to Matty last week or the week before, I can't remember when, and said, Matty, I want to get you back on. Yeah, we had you on the podcast a while back, but I want to do a one-to-one, one of my spotlights with you, because in my opinion, Bitterroot is setting the gold standard. Like I said before, Hashima is doing amazing, but that's more on the marketing side of it, as in, the stuff they're doing themselves. For a community project, Bitterroot is setting the standard. Facility says it there in chat. People believe in the map. They believe in this map. And I agree, because what we're seeing is a lot of people wanting to contribute, whether it be volunteering their time, whether it be paying for a commission. I saw the Running Man paid for a couple of commissions. Actual vehicles are going to be working, so I'm pretty sure they're not going to be cheap to get a good quality one done. So people can choose to either just donate an item that's in need, the commissions that have gone up, such as the nuclear and the police stations and all that sort of stuff. Or if they just love what you are doing, they can just subscribe to you via one of the methods, whether it be a subscription, an ongoing one, or just a one-off donation. That's your choice, and it gets you some perks along the way. I personally think it's the gold standard of how to do it.
Yeah, man, buddy, I appreciate that. So look, it does cost money, and again, I can't fund that completely myself. I can fund some of it, but I can't fund all of it. And I think this whole idea.
You've done fucking more than the day before did. That's for sure.
Well, that's not saying a ton, But listen, like and this comes back to my server ownership days. I mean, my entire DayZ life, if you will, it goes back to when it came out on console, and I started playing, and not too long ago, shortly after that, made a server, got into the server ownership side of the things, and learned that whole side. Well, those cost money. Like renting servers costs money. It's a monthly payment you have to pay. Discord bots cost money, and it's not easy to always build that into your budget. And so that's where you really lean and rely on your community to help you. And so you work on building the community that trusts you, that is loyal to you, and really supports the vision that you have for what you're trying to provide. And they again, same for them. Like, they're going to send you their hard-earned coin. It's because they trust you that you're going to do something with it that is going to help them.
And you're delivering. You're delivering. Yeah. That's the important thing, mate. We're getting updates, then it closes down, so you can do some more work on it behind the scenes, and then when you're ready, bang, up with another update and another playtest, so people can give feedback.
Yeah, for sure. I view every dollar that is contributed towards the project, whether that is a just a one-off, whether that's a subscription, whether that is a commission, or even a Twitch subscription, Twitch subscribers, like all that money goes back into the pool. I view it as an investment in the map. Like these are people that I
Yes,
view, hey,
folks.
you're an
Quickly stop
investor in
there.
the map.
He does stream. There's a link tree for his all of his links, and you can actually watch him do some of the work and just other stuff. Probably plays a bit as well. But all of the links are in his link tree there. If you want to support, watch, join the Discord, anything like that, they'll also be in the description of the video as well. But carry on.
Yeah. Thanks, Bodie. Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, I view all of that as an investment in the map, and that you guys are now investors, and you, I like the pressure because it adds a little bit of pressure to me to get it done. It's like, these people are trusting me to get it done so much that they're willing to give me some of their money and to get it done. So I need to get it done. And so it's great. I really enjoy it. It gives me the capability to do what we're doing here in this project. And the commissions, I think, is one of the big ones. So the commissions, for anybody who doesn't know how that works, basically I would go and I'd scour through the websites that offer digital assets. I'd find ones that I really liked that I thought would make a lot of sense to be in Bitterroot, which you guys all have seen, and some more that you haven't even seen yet that are to come. I would post them in the Discord as available commissions, and they would have a price. And so that price would cover the cost of the asset itself. Those things aren't cheap. They're not always cheap. Sometimes they really are cheap. Sometimes they're not. So I don't have any available commissions at the moment. Everybody's commissioned one, but they'll be listed there, and you can see some of there. So the more all the completed ones. And so there's the price covers the cost of the asset. It covers the cost of the what I pay the modder, which in most cases is fishy, or in the gun cases it covers encodus fees. And then there's also like a 10% overhead that will sometimes these things go, like I mentioned earlier, sometimes the assets are like not suitable at all. And so what Fishy thought was going to be a 5-hour project just turned into a 25-hour project. And so I like to throw a little bit more on top for that, because it's like, you did way more work than what you're charging me here. So I always throw that in there. And if it doesn't end up costing overhead, it goes back into the general fund, which ultimately goes to server costs or whatever else that they cost. So like see that lodge there, you guys haven't seen yet. That's going to come in the next one, but that's that one right there. That is what I sent to Fishy. And he was like, I could do this. And then he opens it up and is like, this is not made for video games. This is not made for video games. So he had to completely basically rebuild that entire thing. And it is stellar. It's absolutely beautiful. And I cannot wait to get it in for the next update so people can run in there and be like, we're fucking Yellowstone. This is Dutton Ranch. And and have a great time with it. So all that, those are commissions. That's how those work. And what's really cool, I think, Boydie, is that subscribers, one-time things, those things go into a general fund. So those people know that those people are throwing it into a pool, and they're like trusting me that it's going to go to a good thing. These guys,
look, I want to stop for a sec here. I want to interject again, because this is one of the reasons why I believe so much in this project is it's the little things you're doing, Matty. And it does show that you've got a marketing background. If for a pleb like me, I just would have said, thank you, Hannah, for this vehicle. But you're adding a custom little comment about each and everything. Some shady motherfuckers definitely use this to do some shady shit in this thing. This is an operable vehicle, and it's the blue van. There's Hannah in chat there. There's my creeper van.
Creepy van.
Yeah, an all-American classic. Down here, let's fulfill the stereotype. We Americans don't all own AR-15s, but in Bitterroot Valley they sure did, as long as you're in the right tier zones. But I just love that you're putting these little bits of, this I can't wait. I talked about this on the podcast a while back, how cool it would be to be able to drive the police cars in the game. And, if you're chasing another car around the map and, turn your siren and lights on, that would just be awesome. The same as the trucks. That's just, when you think of America, you think, my good old truck. We call them utes here in Australia, but you guys call them trucks for some reason. But even someone put a golf club in there. They call it golf because all the other 4-letter words were taken. You found a nice quote about it. I love this little attention to detail that you're doing, mate.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, what I was going to say about these things is these are really cool because like Hannah, for example, she commissioned the van as you show. Well, one day when that van is in there, Hannah's going to come across that van and she's going to be like, look, that's my van. I contributed to that. I feel a bit of ownership over this map. That my support contributed to this being in the map in the map. Same thing with I could struggle to see the names, but I think that was Bobo Jim that did that one. Bobo Jim's done it. Bobo Jim has done a lot of the commissions. He's been doing a lot of these because of him.
Bobo, if you're in chat or you're watching this later, mate, you're a fucking legend.
He is. And like, when you're going around and you're seeing these things, I feel a little bit of ownership over this map myself is what I hope people feel. And I feel like that helps keep people come back and want to feel a little bit different about Bitterroot. I want Bitterroot to like kind of tug on your heartstrings a little bit when you play it. And so when you leave it, I want you to come back to it. And you leave it, I want you to come back to it. And I want you to play Bitterroot. So that's just
these do need a rework. They need to be made a bit more run down looking compared to most of the other vehicles. It's something I've noticed is they really stand out.
Yeah, it does. It's on my to-do list, I promise.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wish these were drivable. These just look badass.
They are badass. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So all of that, people can go to that page, they can scroll through and they can see all of the things. And some of them you can see, like, this is what they look like whenever they're coming from the website. You can see the PD right above where you're about to be right now. So this is what the PD originally looked like. And it looks nothing like that now. Fishy completely rebuilt that thing to make it more suitable for DayZ. That was one of the most, I knew Fishy was great, but when Fishy sent me that one, that's when I was just like, this guy's fucking fantastic. And like, I'm so glad I have Fishy to do these things. So
even these, I think they call them like a double wide or something like that. I've heard it referred to as, but I love these custom little buildings. This one, I'm really intrigued in seeing what you do with this. Mm-hmm. This I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah. Those guys are difficult to figure out. I don't have any on the map right now. I got to figure what I want to do is I want to do some rural places and like slap them down in there and like just have some little bunkers and like place you can find food and like maybe an AR-15, like simple stuff like that too. But yeah, those are definitely coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this church was another one.
The church, I love the church.
This church was another one. So you guys have all seen the white church. You can tell it doesn't really look like that. Fishy got this model and was like, "This is not suitable. It's just not going to work." And he built it completely from the ground up.
And he's done a great job. It's one of my favorite buildings.
It's such a great building. Such a great building. Yeah, that one's going to be a fun one. That one's to come. I won't talk too much about that one because I want you guys to see it whenever it gets in there. But that's going to be a fun one.
But yeah, even that, I don't think I've seen this building yet. But I can't wait to see them. And the fireplaces work in them. I found one of these. I did have an idea on this one in that I don't know whether it's possible, but maybe do a competition and let the people design magazine covers, to put into there, just a few interspersed there, something funny, a bit like what DayZ did with the books.
What we could do, I don't think you could do the magazines because they're a little too small. But if you go back to that one real quick, if you go back to the bookstore there, so on the sides there you see that little white poster. There's a poster on the other side, the white side on the side of the building or the side of the stand or whatever. There's a poster there that's like welcome to Montana, and then on the other side there's like the Uncle Sam, like I want you military recruitment, and then there's another poster in the background. So maybe someday that would be a poster thing that we could then slap onto those. That would be pretty cool. Or even a billboard. We got billboards, like that would be a fun one. That's a great idea. I didn't think of that. That's a good idea. Get your custom billboard put in there for a photo competition or something. So
good idea there by Hannah. If Matty wanted any ideas for the name wall he was going to add to Bitterroot for the donators, he could do like a military wall memorial with donated names. But yeah, that would be something interesting. But even this, don't think this is in the game yet. I haven't come across it, but it's a nice looking.
That one's in Winter Park, the trailer park. If you go there, you'll see it there.
Okay, maybe I have. Maybe actually, I think I may have. Yeah, but I just haven't been there this time because the maps are fucking big. This one's a beautiful building as well.
It is
so many, but we'll move on because we've got a lot more to talk about. So we'll go back to your little post. So this began back in 2022 in March, 6 months after you got a PC for the first time. You had absolutely no background in PC development, IT gaming, nothing. Just curious and watch a few YouTube videos to get started. So what made you come up with this plan?
Yeah. Well, so like I mentioned already, I came from console, and so that Chernarus and Livonia, right? And so when I came to PC, I was like, I can't wait to play Deer Isle. I cannot wait to play Deer Isle. I've heard about it for like 5 years now at this point. I cannot wait to play Deer Isle. And it didn't disappoint. That map is absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
The one point that it did disappoint in is that it says it's America, but I was like, I don't really feel like this is America. Like, I don't really feel any American stuff here. And I think because for the most part, it's all vanilla assets, which is amazing that he did that. He's got
and also, obviously, from what I understand, he did it all himself. I don't know whether John McClane was getting any donations or anything like that, other than when he streams. He didn't do it the way that you've done it. So that's a lot of $5,000 folks, US. That's a lot of money for one person to create custom stuff completely for themselves.
Yeah, well, that's a side point here. Is that, like, look, I don't know that I think John McCain's been at it for 5 years, maybe even longer than that. Like, I think it's roughly in that range. Mine, I've been going at it for 2 years. Like you said, I don't think I think I'll be done in late fall this year. So going on almost 3 years basically for Bitterroot. I don't know that there are other type of mods out there that take years to do, quite like a map does. And so I think that should come into play when people consider supporting a map or thinking about how they, you use the word monetize it, and that gets the association that like we're making money off of this, which is not always the case. I'm sure some do, and in some ways I have, but it's not like I'm going out and spending money on lavish dinners or anything like that. I'm like able to buy extra assets and extra things. And so you're right. You're right. Well, you're right.
Okay. Stop right there. So what if you fucking spend a bit of money on yourself, mate? You're working your ass off. You've got a lot of fucking pressure on this. If you want to spend $100 and buy yourself and your missus a fucking Uber Eats dinner or buy her a bunch of flowers, she's got a fucking baby on the way. You're part of a team, mate. You and your missus and your family, it's all a team. So if some of this money goes to spending stuff on you, as long as you're still delivering on what you're fucking being promised, mate, no one with half a fucking brain is going to care if you spend some money on yourself. If you give some money to fucking Fishy, if you give some money to fucking Nate, if they need it for, as a thank you for what they're doing. People are giving you money, and if they want to give you something that is tangible, they can buy an asset, and they can do it that way. Any other money that goes to you, it's up to you what you fucking do with it, provided you deliver on the project you said. That's all that matters. Don't feel like you ever have to justify what you spend a single fucking dollar on, provided you deliver on the map, mate. If you don't deliver on the map, then we'll come fucking hunting you. And I know where to find AR-15s now because I know where they are in the map. But what you do is up to you, mate. It's your project, and it's all on you if it fucks up. So you've got the ultimate responsibility. I don't see that in you at all, though. I don't see that all in you one little bit. You keep doing, and if you need to fucking, he's literally at the problem. Why this took so long is his missus is about to drop any day now, folks. He could have to run off right now. She could come in and go, babe, water broke. And it'll be like, oh shit, action stations. I bet she got the bag packed by the front door, mate, to take to the hospital with her.
We do. Yeah, it's there.
Yeah. So you do what you've got to do, my man. And you spend it how you fucking want. And it's got to be a bit of fun. Life's all about having a bit of fun as well, mate. So don't ever feel bad for taking a bit out to do fucking something nice for just you and the family.
For sure. Yeah, no, I hear you. I just wanted to make sure that it's clear that I'm responsible with the funds that have been entrusted with me, and like you said, I'm going to deliver. I'm going to deliver and get the map completed for everybody to enjoy it.
You're going to deliver. The wife's going to deliver. Fucking everyone's delivering in your house, mate.
Everybody's delivering.
Oh, and then we could go into a nice little down deliverance.
Yeah, exactly. No, but going back to your original point, so I came over, Deer Isle. It's like, this is beautiful, but this is not America. And I was like, somebody's got to make an American map. Like, there's got to be something out there. And I couldn't find any other map that was like America at the time, like truly American immersive. And I was like, "God, somebody's got to make it. Like, somebody's got to make it. Why is this not a thing? Daisy in America." And I was like, well, like, why the fuck? Why not me? Why can't I make one? And so I was like, I remember messaging my buddies who were helping. We were owning Trio, co-owning the 1988 server, and I was like, I'm gonna make a map thing. And they were like, dude, like, it's gonna take you years. It's not worth the time, whatever. And I was like, no, I mean, like, I feel like I'm gonna make a map and I can make it happen. I'm gonna do this. And they were like, well, how are you gonna do it? I was like, I don't fucking know. I don't know anything. I don't know anything how this works, but we're like, see how it goes. And that's when I found them how to make a map in 2 hours on YouTube, and just more YouTube videos, and then finally I found the Discord, and then just all the other resources that are there, and basically just went from knowing nothing about PCs, let alone PCs, but not knowing anything about how maps are made or anything like that, to just being curious and persistent on trying to learn how these things work. And now here we are.
Now, a question for you: why are you doing it as playtests and not just leaving the servers up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that question a lot. So there's a couple of reasons.
I think I know why, but I'll let you explain.
Sure. So first and foremost, I like to play the map. So for one, like, if the map and playtest is up, I'm not working on the map because I'm playing the map. I'm out enjoying it. I'm enjoying what I've created and spent so much time on. I'm playing with my friends. I'm taking a mental break from the slog and grind of working in Terrain Builder and making the map. So that's one reason. I don't think I could do both at the same time, and it certainly couldn't do them both well. And the other thing is that, look, it's not completed. And I don't want to leave an unfinished product out there and forever, or for a long period of time. And I don't want people to get the impression like this is an unfinished map, or like, what's to come up there, or anything like that. Like, I want to deliver each playtest to be a cleaned up, fine-tuned product for people to play, and then help me find the flaws that are in there. And then the next playtest comes around, I hope that every single flaw and bug that was pointed out in the previous test is fixed, and you guys can help me find the next one. So I get this period of time of like a week or 2 weeks, whatever it is, with these playtests, where I get concentrated, hardcore, high quality feedback on what has been added. And that really helps me be able to go into the next phase of development and know exactly what I need to fix, what exactly I need to adjust, and exactly where I need to go. And on top of all that, it's confirmation. It's confirmation that the direction we're going in is the right direction, that people are enjoying where we're going, and that I'm doing the right things. And I think for me, that's just the way I work. It makes me work better and deliver a more high quality product, I think. And to be honest, I view this thing as a job, as a business, if you will. I kind of treat it in a lot of ways as a business. And so I view, how would a business do that? They're not going to put out a finished product forever for people to play on consistently and get the impression that this is a broken thing, because it is broken in its current state. And I'm going to give a little taste of it. We're going to find what's wrong with it, and we'll fix it, and we'll come back at the end. We're going to release this thing for everybody to have and do whatever the hell they want to do with it and have a great time with it. But I want to make sure it's done before it gets to that point.
I'm just looking at the map on Steam. You've got 22,839 current subscribers. What's the growth been like over the coming up to a year soon?
Yeah, no, the great growth has been
sorry, 20, yeah, so just over a year now. So what's the growth been like in subscribers?
Well, the first playtest, so the very first playtest, it was funny. There was I did like a private preview for a couple of like trusted people, friends, and then a couple of people, other map makers who I was like, I strategically chose a like subsect of people so I could get a broad set of feedback. I chose people who were making maps so that I knew like, okay, what they're going to get back to me is like critical stuff that is going to be very helpful. I got close friends that I'd be like, okay, whenever all these people say really bad things about my map, these guys are gonna tell me some good stuff that they really liked, but they're also going to be honest and I can trust what they're telling me, and it's going to help me, really know what to do. And then I had Marks and Facility in as well, and they streamed. They were like the marketing side of that little playtest, and so
Yep.
Marks put out a video pretty quickly, like a very early day one, and was like, this map's got some potential. And so that one got a bunch of views, which then I opened up a full play test the next week for the very first phase. And a couple streamers popped on. Amish Zed was, I think, the very first streamer of like a substantial large size that hopped on, and just population blew from there. Other people came in, other streamers came in, and that the streamers play a great role in helping to spread the word, because they've got a lot of followers and their people want to play too what they are enjoying as well. And from there, it just kind of blew up. So that kind of goes to what I think maybe I have the point on later on, but and a little bit of advice to other map makers, if I can offer any advice at this point in time, is that like if you're making a map and you want to do, and I was actually chatting with Oli from Azalea about this before his first play test, and he was asking me a lot of questions. I was like, Oli, like if you're going to put out a play test for the very first one, I think it's the wise idea. But listen, if you do not put it out until you are ready, like don't put it out until you are ready to receive whatever feedback's going to come, and you're going to take it the right way. You're going to take it in as constructive feedback. You're going to fix what they're going to say. You're going to take the good with the bad, but also like you want to be ready to form a great first impression that's going to leave people wanting to come back at some point. And that ended up happening for me. I guess that first play test was really successful, and it made people want to come back. And then that started the 6 to 8 week cycle that I've been on, where I do an expansion. Then I do a like bug fix a test, and then I do another expansion, and then a bug fix test, and so on and so on. So growth has been great. 22,000 is huge. That's really cool to see. I didn't know that it was going to be that big at some point in time, and it's hopefully can continue growing more and more, and everything like that. So it's been good.
Good question there in chat from Lakavu. So what's going on with these assets in the end? Will they be open source, or maybe John McClain or somebody else can use them for projects as well? Now, I gave a brief answer in chat just then that many of these assets are purchased under license, so that won't be possible. Am I correct in that?
Well, so the reason why here's the thing. So they're all baked into the Bitterroot map mod. So anybody who would want to use these assets on say your like Trinara server or something like that, you would have to download the entire Bitterroot mod and keep that in your mod list. So you would basically, it just wouldn't work because they're built into the mod itself. If you were going to do any other mod map except for Bitterroot.
But a lot of those 3D models, you have to purchase a license to be able to use them, don't you?
Yeah. So those 3D models, you would have to go on CG Trader or Sketchfab or something like that. You'd have to purchase the model.
I think that's what he was meaning. Yeah. I think that's what he was meaning, like the individual assets that you've got, the models and that. So unless they're ones that are designed from the ground up, even the reskinned church and that, I think that would probably still fall under the license that you purchased it on, because all you were really doing is redesigning it based on a design that is out there. So the
PD for sure. That to the church that Fishy made, the white church, that is, he made that completely from the ground up. So that's a little bit different. That's like as if he made the entire thing himself. And there's a few others that he actually did stuff like that too. But yeah, ultimately, if in your example JMC wanted to use something that I have on the Bitterroot map already and baked it to my map, he would have to go buy the asset himself, and he would have to build it or have somebody import it for him, which it may look exactly the same or it might look different. It just depends.
So you also gave us a bit of an outlook on your strategy. So I think you need to have a plan in place when you go into this. What is your idea? Is it unique? Is it something that on the idea alone is going to spark a level of interest? Yours is a great example. Hashima Islands as well. Very quirky maps. Lux, I think, is one of the sleepers. We'll talk about Lux a bit more later, but that's an amazing map, but not many people play it or are aware of it. And it's a beautiful jungle map with custom trees and tigers, and everything is just insane. Or you can add tigers to it, sorry, Dinos Benos' mod. But yeah, once you have the idea, then what's really going to make it unique and drive people to your map? Have unique POIs, places of interest ideas, and asset ideas that will pique interest. Then you need to have an effective marketing strategy. You can make the best map or mod in the world, but if nobody knows about it, then it's useless. That applies to streaming. That applies to creating a mod, a map, a server community, anything. You can be the best in the business, but if you can't market it, we've talked about this a lot on the podcast. We saw the likes of Dumgra start doing little ads and videos promoting his mods and that, which has been amazingly successful for him. A lot of modders, they rely on the likes of a scale speeder or a Marks to cover what they've done. Yeah, that's great when they do, but you've got to do your own stuff as well. It makes it easier for us here on the podcast to share your stuff as well. If you've got something that we can easily showcase. If you don't know how to do it yourself, reach out. There's plenty of people. I see, pretty much every month or so, I see someone out there saying, does anyone need any editing done? I love doing it. I'll do it for free. It's just something I love doing. Find these people who do good stuff like that. And most of them will be more than happy to help you out. You need to network with people. That's what I was just talking about. Develop friendships and relationship with others. Reach out to the larger, more well-known server owners to let them know what you're working on. If they're excited about it, then their communities will be as well. Engage with the community that's taking the time to play your map. Stop in on streamers and say thank you. Reply to comments and tickets in a timely fashion. Why should they care about you or your project if you aren't showing them that you care about their experience, questions, and concerns? None of this matters if you don't form a good first impression. I like to say you never get a second chance to make a good first impression. Don't introduce the actual project to the community for their engagement until you're ready to accept the outcome. If you'd the playtest for it, as I have, then make sure they get a taste of what the map is about and want more. Don't leave them saying, meh, that was okay. It's a long ways to go. Make sure they say, wow, that was memorable and fun. Desire there still being a long ways to go. I can't wait to see more. And I can't wait to see more either. It's just, there's another one in chat who's doing some great marketing, Josie. He's doing some really, really good videos on the stuff that he's doing.
Yeah. I think Josie's in my Discord too, and he keeps showing a bunch of pictures. He's taking a really bunch of great pictures of Bitterroot too. Yeah. So I get really excited whenever I see those pictures. I'm like, damn, that's really fucking good. It's a really great picture, really pretty. But I mean, Boydie, you highlighted, kind of what my strategy has been, and some of that has been intentional from the very beginning, and some of that's been like kind of just built up over time. But
see what I
think
did?
the big thing, yeah, there you go. There's Haven Settlement. I think one of the big things is networking. I think networking is really important. It's not only, it's super important in real life. It's in developing relationships with people and being honest and like being real with people. It's important. I absolutely hate when people make like a video or whatever, and they're just like, I'll scream off into the Netherlands my feelings because you know what, fuck you, and like, this, I don't really care about what anybody thinks. Like stop that. Like that's not a cool thing. That's not like, there's a difference between having confidence in what you believe and what you're saying, and then also just being like, fuck everybody. Like those are just very different things. And so for me, I'm confident in what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. And also at the same time, like I want to build relationships with others because I want other people to pour into me and I want to pour into others as well. I want to help other map makers that are coming up, that are learning with the process, that like see what I'm doing and they're like, oh, I would like to do something like that. And there's other people that I've looked to that I'm like, wow, I would love to get to know those guys better because they've got wisdom that, that I could use and utilize in my project as well. And I just want to develop these friendships with these people. And I think that's important. One thing that's really helped for me is I set out at the very beginning to thank every single streamer that I can possibly find, whether they had 50,000 people in the chat or whether they had one person in the chat. And I think that has been very helpful to me. I've developed a lot of friendships with streamers who I had no idea who they were beforehand. I was not somebody who watched streams, Twitch or YouTube or Kick or anything like that. I did not watch any of that stuff before. I didn't know any of these people. And then I was like, well, shoot, all these people are taking the time to play my map. And then not only that, but they're willing to show their adventures in that. I should say thank you to these people. And so I popped in every
Mhm.
single, I would search every single playtest still to this day. I search Bitterroot in YouTube. You search it in Twitch and Kick, and I stop in and I say, thank you. Welcome back to the Bitterroot Valley. Thank you for playing. And then for the most part, I try to stay around if I have time to answer a question or two for them. And that, I think, that's been great too, because these guys have questions as well, and I could answer it for them right there. And then whenever they have 10 viewers and those viewers are asking those same questions, they can accurately and correctly answer those questions too. And I think streamers appreciate that I stop in and say hello and thank them for doing that. Even the really tiny guys, and those are my favorite ones, honestly, is to stop
Yeah.
in those
They
ones where they
their reaction is true joy. It's like, oh my
yeah.
god, Matty, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I follow all of them too. I mean, look, I stream. I know how hard it is to get followers. I know how hard it is to get started in this entire process. So I drop the follow, I say hello, and I like chat with them for a bit. And I want to make them feel really. I do appreciate them. So I want them to feel that. I appreciate you broadcasting your journey in this little world that I created, and you're creating memories, and I want to enjoy those memories with you as you're going about and you getting attacked by a mountain lion and I see you jump scare. Like, that's fucking great. Now you have a memory from Bitterroot, and I'm there to experience it with you. And I think it's fun. So,
Now,
and that's one thing I've really done, and I think others could do that too. That's a simple, easy thing.
you've touched on, there's a question in chat here from Lakavu again. So, what is the finish line for this map? Is it after the last black section is filled in, or are you going to go back and add detail after that? Because a lot of the map is looking pretty bare. And I wanted to actually talk about this with you as well, because now this in the background,
Yep.
Haven Settlement, absolutely stunning location. Now, let me just change my background photo again. That's Haven up there in the background, folks. Doesn't look anything like that. You have created a problem for yourself that is kind of unique to your map, because you've got these massive features with obviously Haven or Comanche Mountain or whatever the name of the main mountain is called, being such a dominant feature that the only comparable one that I can think of off the top of my head is the mountains on Namolsk. But because they're snow, they don't suffer from the same graphical issues that this does when you look at it from a distance. Is that something that you're got an idea on how to do something about? Because, as you said, some of the areas, particularly when you're outside of rendering range, they do look quite barren.
Yeah, so that is definitely a thing. So on my map, there is a lot of these wide open views, so you can see multiple kilometers in the distance. And DayZ has a hard time rendering those things. So that is definitely something that is on my mind. Is like, okay, how do we address that in the future? Currently, the way I have it is that I have the view distance, the default view distance, cranked up to 3,000 meters. I'm not an expert on this area. This is not this thing where I lean on other people. I know that that's a bit on the higher end from what I understand that people recommend. I think like vanilla is like 1,300 meters basically. So I want you to be able to run through the valley and see the big old mountain in the distance with the candy cane tower at the top. And I want you to be able to also at the same time be able to look to your left and see the big cross from Faith's Gate as well at the same time. And so I want you to be able to like see all those things at the same time, because like you said, there's a lot of pretty views in Bitterroot. And if you can't see them because the render is not coming in, then you're missing out on that part. So yeah, those things are on my mind of like, how do we make this work, but also not kill performance at the same time? Some of that is just DayZ, and we're just not going to be able to get over that. We're not going to be able to like pass those hurdles. But I think there are obviously some things that we can do to make those things a little bit better. And those are all on the to-do list as we go on. But to answer your question, or the question in the chat earlier. So yeah, the black section is the part that's undeveloped. That is going to be fully developed hopefully I'm aiming for end of August or early October, that I would have that completed. And that will also include a bunker that I'm going to put in the south as well at some point. And I would love to chat about the strategy of loot flow, because I think that's another really important thing that map makers overlook when they start making a map. But So once that's the blacked out area is completed and the bunker is completed, the map will be completed, quote unquote, completed at that point, and it will be released to server owners to use. And now at that point, I will be like, I don't have a bunch of expansions to do. I know like this huge void now. I got to fill some time, and so I will be going back, and I'll go back through.
Well, I
Like
gave
I
you
have
an
multiple
idea.
times.
I gave you an idea about that with how Namolsk does things, but I'll let you talk about that in your own time. A way that you can expand on it more. But I've got to quickly just shout out as well. Bobo Jim's in chat. Um, so, but big shout out. He said he's almost to Haven Settlement on his bougie golf cart. I asked him how's the hill climb going. He said very smooth, other than a random boulder I missed while watching the stream. See, I've got a theory on that. I think because he's donated so much, you've given him a turbo fucking boosted golf cart, because I couldn't imagine climbing that fucking mountain in a golf cart.
You know, I've seen quite a few people take sauerkraut's golf carts up the mountain and then ride it down, and it's hilarious to see them do that. But yeah, that's funny. But yeah, once the map is released and out, I'll certainly go back through all the locations and do some fine tuning, and fine combing through and adjust things that I noticed that just like irk me, like sidewalks that are not lined up properly or things like that, and certainly add in detail in certain locations. I think that there is. I think that some people over detail though, and I think that there is a point where the player does not give a shit about the detail that you're adding, and in fact, in some ways, it kind of ruins the experience. I think because it causes performance issues. So I'm trying to expand it. I'm just trying to get it expanded and get it released so people can play it full time. But when I go back to it, I'll strike that balance. I'll try to strike that balance between making it more detailed, adding a little bit more character to it in certain locations, adding a little bit more overgrowth, and taking my time with it, but also not to the point that it's the detriment of the performance. Because I think most people would tell you that they would much rather have a smooth PvP experience rather than have a pretty looking building that is loaded with vines at the end of the day. So finding that balance between performance and pretty detail is important.
I sent Matty a message, folks, and I'm interested in your feedback on it as well. I went to Haven Settlement for the first time a couple of days ago, and I'm in love with it. It's why I took all those photos of it. But I raised with him a concern that potentially, unless it's like a no build zone on a server, any faction, especially if they're a big faction that takes that location, is going to be nearly impossible to evict from it. And that, I said to him, my suggestion is it needs to have a comparable location somewhere else on the map that a rival faction can build up in as well. Because unless you can get all the other factions on a base building server to unite, that's going to be one hell of a location to try and raid with just the one entry to it. What do you guys in chat think? And Matty, I'll let you respond saying what you said to me about it.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, like adding another entry point, the backside where the door is closed, making that open is super easy, or even adding a third door is super, super simple. My vision with that location is more like going back to my server ownership days and thinking of the server owner, and that server owners of many servers enjoy having like a trader or a safe zone, a settlement, or something like that. And so in my mind, I kind of view this as a baked in location that fits the vibe and the lore of the map, that like, hey, these survivors came together and put it up there and put it there, but then they can also use that location. I view the same thing with Winter Park as another trader type location in mind. Obviously they could use it or not use it or change it however they wanted. But I think at the end of the day, like, it's, if a server owner that chooses to use this map, they will scour over the location, a good server owner, they will scour over the map and they'll go like, okay, these are locations that we don't want factions to say. And they would make that a no build location. Or at the same time, also like, if somebody gets to it first and builds it up, good on them, like go get it, go take it. So I try to leave that.
There are a lot of other good locations, like those apartments up in the north there.
And there'll be more. There'll be more to come too, because
there'll
be more to come to. I'll kind of hint at it now because I've hinted at it quite a few times. But that big city that's to come, like I got some really cool plans for it. It's going to be a kind of a mixture between the Division 2, and The Last of Us, and the Division 1. Basically, kind of be a hodgepodge of all of that. It's going to be a dense city with wide open sidewalks, even kind of a little bit of a Tarkov-ish feel in some respect. I hope. And it'll have a Capitol grounds that will look very similar or inspired by the White House from the Division 2. And then also there will be an actual quarantine zone location, kind of inspired by the Kansas City The Last of Us quarantine zone in the show that is just left wide open. And those are kind of like what I'm kind of taking from inspiration for the big ass city. And so there'll be some military in there. There'll be some tunnels in there. There'll be some flooded out areas in the tunnel. There'll be a lot of really tall buildings. It'll be a sketchy place to go through, but it'll be a really pretty place, and I'm very, very excited to get that done. So far what I've got done of it is maybe 20% of it, minus all the detailing that has to get done. But man, I'm so freaking excited about it. And again, going back to the question before, like that is another one where I've got to find a balance between making it detailed and really pretty and also making it perform well. Because people will PvP in there, and they don't want to be skipping and lagging around all over the place because I made it too dense or I made it too detailed and things like that. So that is going to be a little less
maybe
trashy,
have a chat with Cabello. Like prior to Banov and the Banov city, everyone had been telling me that you couldn't have a big city, it'd be too laggy. And then I got on Banov and I was like, well, this has got a hell of a lot going on in here. But I didn't really notice any issues with performance. And I'm only running a 2080 or some sort of graphic card like that. So, yeah, like I say, crank it. And if it needs to be scaled back, you scale it back. But exactly. I'm desperate to see a very big, and with some of the custom buildings you've got as well, I can just imagine, there's really nothing. Banov's got it a bit with some of the high-rise apartments there, but there's really been nothing for me that's been reminiscent of the old, if you remember Cherno back in the day, back when it had blue square and triple yellow, the big sniper battles, people up on the apartments up on the hill and the snipers on those two towers. And that would be something awesome to see, is a city where you can get in there and have these big battles between sniper battles and people trying to charge, raid the tower that they're hiding in. And it's just got such a great, and being up there in the north west as well, unlike Cherno, it was always a bit of an issue with Cherno because it was a freshy area. So all these freshies were running around in the middle of this high tier sniper fights and adding a bit of extra chaos, which was good in its own right. But yeah, I love that idea, mate.
Yeah, no, exactly. It'll be a very diverse city, if you will. Like it'll have a lot of urban, it'll have some construction, it'll have a big old Central Park in the middle of it. And I'm really taking a lot of inspiration from Central Park in New York City for that. So there will be a little castle in the middle of the park, which will be pretty cool because there is a castle in the middle of Central Park, if you didn't know. So there's a little tiny castle in the middle of my park. There's a tunnel with flooded out underneath it that you can go into with like other alleyways and tunnels inside it. Like, so if you needed to go through the city because you're coming back from the bunker, from the tier 4 location in the far northwest, and you wanted to go back to the bunker, but you needed to go through the city, you can go underground where it's going to be dark, but it could be sketchy under there too, but at least you're not going to be sniped from somebody up on a tower. Like, so I want to provide a scenario where people want to go through it, even though they know that it's going to be freaking difficult because you could get killed, and running from the different sectors inside of the and districts inside the city itself. There's even a university. I made a whole baseball field. I made a basketball gym. I made a basketball.
I've loved that
arena
as well, by the way.
Yeah,
the baseball
I made a football field.
The football fields
so
in
cool.
The bases are awesome. I love it.
Yeah, the baseball field at the university in Jackson Falls. The city's gonna be called Jackson Falls, but the baseball stadium there is really cool. I'm really excited about it. Can't wait for people to see it. It's really cool. It's cooler even than the baseball fields that are in Lakeland. It's a much bigger. It's like a college baseball stadium. It's pretty cool. So, yeah.
Does anyone in chat have any more questions? But mate, I'm just blown away. Like I want to go back and just double, triple, quadruple down on how well I think this whole campaign has been run. You know, I think a lot of people were scared to try something of this nature after Daisy expansion, which was almost like the first major one to try something along these lines back. And there was a bit of confusion about what was happening and stuff like that. But it's great to see something like this. A few other people have done some, and tried to do some GoFundMe style stuff with mods and all the rest of it. But I think you've cracked the formula on how to do it and do it in a way, because I harp on and on and on and on and on and on. Oh, we lost him.
Am I here? I'm here.
Yep, you're back. But I harp on and on and on about hashtag adopt a modder, because it's great when you've got someone who does it because they're passionate and they're doing it for the good of all. But these things cost money, and as much as it's great to get people send you nice messages saying thank you, nothing says thank you like a bit of hard cash at times, and it also opens up the doors to what they can do. Like we've not seen anything like this. The closest that I can think of off the top of my head is Hashima Islands, where they're doing a lot of the reskinning. But my understanding is they're doing nearly all of that themselves. And as you said yourself, you didn't have any tech background. You're not coming into this as someone who can do 3D modeling, animations, skeleton understandings. I apologize. I missed my I slept in. I suffer from sleep apnea. So I sometimes have trouble waking up when I do eventually fall asleep. But, we've got the likes of Hunter Z doing all this work. If you don't have all of this different knowledge, and let's face it, who really does, you need to outsource. And to find people who just do it out of the goodness of their heart is great, but that's hard to find enough people to make something like this come to fruition, where there's – how many custom assets have you got, do you reckon?
50 to 75 probably. I don't remember off the top of my head. I mean, there's a lot of them. I mean, if you count all those cars individually, it's well over 50 or 60 for sure. And there's more to come, so that's all in there. But look, I you're right. I don't. If I decided I wanted to learn how to import a building, it would take me weeks to learn how to do that. That's weeks that are taken away from the map, which I think people really would rather the map than for me to learn how to do a building. And also, I'm not going to do it nearly as good as Fishy's going to do it, for example. So, you get what you pay for, essentially. And there's a lot of people who will do it for free or they'll do it for cheap. And I think the sad thing is there's a lot of people out there that will scam the heck out of you. So I get scammers all the time. I still reach out occasionally, like, I need a vehicle made, or I need something like this, or different things like that. And like, I'll get people to reach out and I'm like, okay, well, can you show me your examples of your most recent work? And then like, show me something that's nothing like what I'm asking for, or it's like not good quality at all. And then they're like, I expect half payment up front. And it's like, if somebody's asking for you to pay up front, like, don't trust them. Like they're scamming you. So, there's just a lot of bad actors out there too, which is unfortunate. And you've got to learn who the good ones are, and fortunately,
I've spent more money on stuff that some I'm really happy with, like the work I had done years ago for the Spotlight. Absolutely brilliant. That was Gale level, amazing creator, amazing. And I've paid for other stuff where I'm either not happy or it just never eventuated, and it's like, okay, lesson learned.
Yeah, I was able to sift through some bad actors early on, or some of them weren't bad actors. They just they just couldn't do what I was wanting them to do. They thought they could, but they just couldn't do it to the level that I was expecting it to be done. And then there was a few that were legitimately bad actors that stole money from me early on. And it just, it sucks, but it's a learning process. And now I know how to avoid that. And I hope others can kind of take some of that away too. Like if somebody's asking you to pay half up front, tell them to fuck off. Like do not take that. That is the first sign of that I'm going to scam you. If they're gonna do a work for you, they'll accept payment at the end because they won't send it to you until you send them the money. And then hopefully they'll actually send it to you. Some of them won't, but ask them to send you their previous work too, so you get an idea of that. But yeah.
Matty, keep up the good work, mate. You have just done an amazing job with this, and like so many of us, I'm excited to see where you go with this, mate. It's just I'm having so much fun. I'm dreading Monday when the server shuts down again, and we've got to start all over from fresh again. And anyone watching this who's from the Australia region, we have an Australia-New Zealand server. I know some of you may be wanting to get into firefights and all the rest of it, so I understand why you'd want to go and play on a 200 to 300 ping server, but we've got one locally. Encourage your local content creators to jump on there. But yeah, we would appreciate anyone getting on there. There's a handful of us who are on there playing, but yeah, I'm trying to come up with an idea with Matty on what we can do to make the Aussie server. I'm trying to convince him to let me put Base Building Plus on it, so that people can start experimenting with probably the most popular building mod. But yeah, I think that would be a great one as well, because it'll give you some good feedback on how it works with that mod as well, with a lot of the buildings and structures you've got, because I know a lot of servers use that one. And then maybe the time after that, we rotate it out with Daisy Expansion and see how their mod works on it. But yeah, I'm in love with the project. I'm in love with the map, and I'm in love with the way you've done it, Matty. Regardless of how some people feel about it, I 110% support the method that you're doing with this. But yeah, it's phenomenal, mate.
I appreciate that, Boydie. It's a closing thoughts time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I would just say, look, if you are listening to this, if you're listening to this and you are somebody who is curious about making a map and interested in making a map, as I once was, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Don't let something scare you into not doing it. You don't need to do a large scale project that requires $5,000. You could use or more. You could literally use every single vanilla asset that's out there and make a map. You don't have to spend any money at all on it, this entire thing, depending on what you want to do. And I would just say, look, if you're going to make a map, make sure you have a unique idea that's different than what other people have already out there. And have some persistence. Be curious, be willing to learn, be willing to ask questions, be willing to do the things that are not directly related to the map, so that way you can work on the map appropriately. Have a strategy in mind. How are people going to flow the loot flow? So how are they going to move? How are they going to how are you going to incentivize people from when they spawn to go to the northwest, for example, and then what? Have these big goals and big pictures in mind that will ultimately guide you in designing your map. But seriously, anybody can make a map. I don't know shit. Still don't know shit. I know a little bit more than the next guy, but that's it. I don't know as much as any of these other map makers are out there doing some pretty crazy cool maps. I don't know any of that stuff, and you don't really need to, I think. But like, if you have an idea, make it unique. Again, just roll with it. Just give it a shot. Worst case scenario, you just got the opportunity to learn a new skill and have a good time with it. So we need more maps, and I encourage you to do it. And if I can be helpful in any way, please reach out. I'll be happy to help direct you to the Big Grandpa Discord as well, where there's just a bevy of resources in there.
And a lot of like-minded people all sharing and helping. A lot of
like-minded people. Absolutely. That will help you and everything like that. So I'd love to see more maps.
Same. Absolutely. I don't know why an alert didn't come up then, but thank you very much, Random. I'm pretty sure that was you just then, buddy. But thank you so much. It should have been an alert. I'll have to work on that. But yeah, I did see it pop up on my phone though. So thank you so much for the donation, mate. Anything you could do like that for us helps us keep the show going each and every week as well. Our costs aren't anywhere near what $5,000 is to create a map, but we still do have costs here at the 87A community. Plus, we just like to do nice shit as well, put on servers to support people with. And if you've got a map as well, the server that I provide here in Australia isn't just for Bitterroot. It's for anyone who has got a server, wants to do a play test, and would like to provide one in the Australia-New Zealand region as well. So hit me up, send us a message in the Discord, send me a message on Twitter. We'll schedule it in, and we will make our server available so you can get on, and Matty jumps on and does what he needs to with it, and it all goes fine, doesn't it, Matty?
It does. It works great, and I really enjoy being able to offer that server to people down in Australia. And
Even
I
if
would love
only
to
a
see it.
handful are playing.
Yeah, listen, I'd love to see it pop in too. But and Boyd, you point. I think you're the one who pointed this out. Like, even some servers, people get scared of low pop servers because they're just like, it's gonna be boring, nobody's there. But like, first off, like DayZ is naturally a solo player game. Like, you're surviving for yourself. You're the individual that has to survive more than anything else. And so even if the server is empty or has a few people in it, like the game still doesn't change all that much for you. But like, it doesn't mean you're not going to run into people. Like I've been in many times on servers, there's only 10 people and I run into like 4 or 5 of them in Gorka, right? Like it just happens. And Boyd, I think you did it the other day. You ran into somebody at Haven maybe, and like you killed somebody there, or Bishop or something like that. It's like, oh, they killed you. Okay. Well, I was giving you the benefit of the doubt there. So, but like it happens. I think, so hop on there. If everybody who said, hey, I'm not going to join that server because it's low pop, if they all joined it, it would be a high pop server. So it'd be great. But I appreciate you providing that. And then also for others too. Dave does the same thing. Dave offers server resources for people in Europe as well to host playtests. I think he's doing it with Rio de Janeiro map and everything like that too. But Boydie, I also want to say thank you to you for this podcast, man, because I think there's between you and like the Friendly Podcast and SOS and like Survival Sisters that are coming online and finding their way. Like I think they said great. Like this is a really great time to help spread awareness of what people are doing in this niche, unique, just DayZ, just like community, right? Like this is like a little weird, like a little community of itself. It's so strange, but it is so cool. It's unlike anything else. Like there's no Madden community like this. There's no FIFA or Elder Scroll. It doesn't exist as far as I'm aware. I mean, maybe it does, but I don't think it does. It's certainly not to the extent of playing a game that is very old and still has a lot of flaws and a lot of broken pieces to it. And people just love it. People love it. So I play it every single day. I've spent every single day on this fucking thing for the last 2.5 years or whatever. And then even beyond that, before that with console. But people like you that do these podcasts, you guys help spread the word on individuals like myself and others. You help other people tell their story, and I think you guys are these like messengers that really help keep this community connected and alive. So I appreciate you, Boydie. I appreciate all your other co-hosts as well that are not here today, but they were last time, and they do a great job too. I enjoy talking with those guys too, and I just appreciate you and what you do here.
This is my show. The other guys can all fuck off. They get to do the podcast with me. This is my show where I get to do a one-to-one with someone that I find fascinating and interesting. And I just felt that we needed to show you and talk more about what you've done, how you're doing it, why you're doing it. Mate, keep it up. As I said, the community hasn't been this hype since Namolsk. Pretty much, barring some of the big actual DayZ updates themselves, Snow, anyone. But I'm really looking forward to it. Just seeing where it goes. Are you going to do a winter Bitterroot map as well?
I don't know. I don't care for winter maps. Or winter.
Dude, you have to.
Mods.
You have to. The reason why I say it is so many communities, they like to, when they're running Churnerus, they'll alternate it and then switch to a winter Churnerus. I think you would find that people would absolutely love it.
No, I know they would. And I think so currently, as of today, February 7th, 2024, I have no intentions of making a Bitterroot winter mod myself, but I have had quite a few people reach out and ask about doing it at some point in time, which I'm like, I have absolutely no problem with somebody doing something like that. And working with me on that, or even doing it on their own. Whatever. But for me, MatttyIce making a winter version of it currently today, as we sit here today, I have no intention of doing it. When we get done with this, maybe, but as of now, I don't. I really like what Bitterroot is set in. Bitterroot is set in is in late May or like middle of May, basically in Montana. Yeah. It is late spring. It is early summer. That's why it's warm in the valley times. You could wear a t-shirt throughout the entire map as you go through the valley, and then if you go up in the mountains, it's freezing fucking cold. At nighttime, it's cold. And it's it's I think it's a good balance between the two of them. Like people can really express themselves in their character with short sleeve shirts and short shorts and do the whole thing. And I really like it. The colors are bright. Like I think it's different than other maps, and I think that helps people be attracted to it. And so for me, spring is what I'm really going for here, and I really want it to be. But I do understand. I know people will love a winter version of it, and I hope to see it someday. I just don't know if I'm going to be the one that does it.
Tag Lad on Twitter and Discord and tell him to get started on Winter Bitterroot, folks.
Lad would be a great one to do it.
Yeah. His winter mod is just awesome. Absolutely loving
so good.
What he's working on with the snow and that, it's just beautiful. But yeah.
So
Matty,
good.
I'm losing my voice. I don't know if you've noticed my voice has changed a bit over the course of this, but keep it up, buddy. You're a champion. And thank you for bringing so much hype to the community.
Yeah, buddy. I appreciate you. Thanks for having me on.
All the best, everyone, and we will see you next time. I will be back actually tomorrow morning, provided I wake up, of course, interviewing Hunter Z to talk about what he's done with the animations that we talked about all that time back when we had Mario on the podcast, and how he's pretty much taken the flag up now that Mario's a BI dev with the Armour team. And yeah, you know, hopefully we can see some of those custom animations come to some of the critters on Bitterroot, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate you guys all being here too.
Lake Placid right there in the background, folks. If you know, you know. I'm going to make it happen. All the best, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Ciao for now. Say bye-bye.
See you guys.